Every game of this NBA Finals, the San Antonio Spurs have shot more free throws than the New York Knicks. Every single game. And after Game 3, the Knicks' own head coach said he'd never seen anything like it. So, are the referees favoring the Spurs? Or is something else going on? I pulled every free throw and every foul from this series, and the real answer is more interesting than a conspiracy. Here's how we'll do this fairly. First, I'll show you the gap, the actual free throw numbers, game by game, no spin. Then we'll test the conspiracy against the other numbers, fouls committed, and shot selection to see what's really driving it. Because a gap at the free throw line can mean the refs are biased, or it can mean two teams are playing completely different styles of basketball. The data tells us which. This game is culture. If you want the breakdown that actually investigates the take instead of just feeding it to you, hit subscribe. It's free and it helps a ton. Now, the gap. First, the gap, and it's real. Here's the Spurs' free throw advantage in each game, their attempts minus the Knicks. +7 in Game 1, +6 in Game 2, and then a +10 in Game 3, the game that set everyone off. The Spurs haven't just won the free throw battle, they've won it by a widening margin every single night. Add it up across the series, and the gap is staggering. The Spurs have attempted 84 free throws, the Knicks 61. That's a 23 attempt advantage in just 3 games, almost 8 extra trips to the line per night. In a series where 2 games were decided by a single possession, that is enormous. So the Knicks' frustration is completely understandable. Game 3 is the one that lit the fuse. The Spurs shot 32 free throws. The Knicks shot 22. San Antonio won by 4. It does not take much imagination to connect a 10-attempt free throw gap to a 4-point road win. That's why the post-game headlines weren't about the basketball. They were about the whistle. And the Knicks head coach said the quiet part out loud after Game 3. Quote, "I never thought I'd see that in an NBA Finals game." He was talking about the free throw disparity. When a Finals coach goes on record like that, you have to take the question seriously. So let's actually test it. So are the refs rigging it? Let's check. Here's the first clue that breaks the conspiracy: fouls. If the refs were just blowing the whistle against New York, the Knicks would be getting hammered with foul calls. But look closer. Across the 3 games, the Knicks have committed 69 fouls, the Spurs 64. The Knicks are fouling more, and when you foul more, you send the other team to the line more. That's not bias, that's cause and effect. Clue number 2, where do the Spurs' free throws actually come from? One man, Victor Wembanyama, has taken 30 of San Antonio's 84 free throws by himself. 13 in Game 1, 8 in Game 2, 9 in Game 3. A 7'4" monster attacking the rim gets fouled. That's not a referee handing out gifts. That's a defense with no way to stop him without hacking. And here's the real difference: 2 styles. This is the Knicks shot diet, and it's the whole answer. Nearly half of their field goal attempts are 3-pointers, around 37 a game. And here's the rule that decides free throws: jump shots do not get you to the line. The Knicks are a jump shooting team, by design, so even with great players, their style simply doesn't manufacture fouls. So put the 2 approaches side by side. The Spurs attack downhill, throw it to a giant at the rim, and draw contact. The Knicks pull up and fire from deep. One of those styles earns free throws, the other doesn't. The gap at the line isn't a verdict on the referees, it's a verdict on how each team chooses to play. To put a number on it, the Knicks are launching around 37 threes a game. That's one of the highest rates you'll ever see in a finals. A team that lives on the perimeter that much is choosing a style that, by its nature, almost never gets to the foul line. You can't settle for jumpers and then be shocked you're not shooting free throws. So here's the honest verdict. The free throw gap is completely real, and it is genuinely affecting this series. But the evidence points to play style, not a rigged whistle. The Knicks foul more, and they settle for jumpers, while the Spurs attack the rim behind the best foul-drawing big in basketball. The refs aren't deciding this series, the shot selection is. And that actually gives the Knicks a fix that has nothing to do with complaining to the league. Attack the rim. Get Brunson and Towns downhill instead of settling. Draw contact instead of launching threes. The free throw gap isn't a curse the refs put on them. It's a choice they're making, and it's one they can change in Game 4 if they decide to. Here's a detail that quietly destroys the rigged whistle theory. The biggest gap of the series, that plus 10, came in Game 3, and Game 3 was in New York. It was a road game for the Spurs. If the referees were simply protecting a home team, the Knicks are the ones who'd get the calls in their own building. Instead, the Spurs got to the line 10 more times on the road. The advantage traveled with San Antonio's style, not with the home crowd. And think about how the gap showed up. Plus 7, plus 6, plus 10 across 3 different games in 2 different arenas called by 3 different officiating crews. A bias would be random. It would swing one way one night and the other way the next. But this gap is steady and it points the same direction every single time. When something stays this consistent across different referees, it isn't the referees, it's the 2 teams. The constant in this series is how they play, not who's blowing the whistle. And the gap isn't only about getting to the line, it's about who's controlling the terms of the game. The Spurs are dictating, driving downhill, forcing defenders into tough choices, and living in the paint. The Knicks are reacting, settling for the shot the defense is happy to give up. The free throw gap is really a tempo and aggression gap, wearing a different jersey. Whoever decides how a game is played usually decides who wins it. So you tell me, is the free throw gap on the referees, or is it on the way the Knicks are choosing to play? Drop your verdict in the comments and let's argue it out. And if you appreciate a breakdown that tests the take instead of just selling it, subscribe and join the family.